What up, Chiefs Kingdom, and welcome to the Arrowhead Kingdom CHIEFScast show. Big reminder that all fans are invited to join us for game day. Visit arrowheadkingdom.org to learn more about the group and to find your local chapter. Also, please make sure to like, share, and subscribe to this channel. And we're, of course, presented by Complete Weddings and Events, your leading provider of photo, video, DJ, photo booth lighting, and day of coordination services. Visit them at completewedo.com. All right. Merry Christmas Eve, everybody. We are recording
Merry
on Merry
Christmas
Christmas
Eve.
Eve. My
Woo!
goal is to have this up tonight. So if I didn't, and this comes up on Christmas, you know that I decided to get into probably a couple of Coors Lights, and this didn't happen.
Josh, can you send me the Christmas song we wrote a couple months ago?
Yes, I can.
Send me those lyrics.
I can. Do you want those right now, or do you want to mess with that later tonight?
I'll mess with it later tonight, but let's just get through this. But then after sometime between now and tonight,
Yeah.
that
All
goes
right.
over.
I'll get that. I'll get that to you. Okay. So we have really three things to talk about. We had a victory over Houston to move to 14-1. That happened on Saturday.
Yes, it
And we
did.
have a game tomorrow against the Steelers in Pittsburgh, one that I think everybody had circled until they found out it was flipping Christmas. And then, nobody I know except for one person is making the trip out there. So, Texans game, Dwayne, what did you think were the keys to that victory?
The keys to that victory, Josh, was pressure, pressure, and more pressure. No knock on Tank Dell, but the defense did a spectacular job keeping CJ Stroud uncomfortable. And so the pressure was on. Stone Cold Chris Jones, he had that season that we needed him to have, that game right there all season. I think that's the best he looked all year, and he's spectacular. He's probably one of the best Chiefs defensive players of all times in any era. But he was just so dominant, and their signals were so scrambled. But another key to victory, X-Man Worthy, he got off, and he got off in a big way. I know, hook him. I love that. X-Man Worthy, he played a great game, and that key to him playing that way on offense, Joe Tooney as offensive tackle made the world of difference. Then also the Hollywood Brown, just him being out there opened it up huge for X-Man Worthy. So with that being said, I was very excited about that, and it's just gonna get better. It's gonna get a whole lot better. Oh, and defense also, I thought Joshua Williams played a great game. Lately, he's been covering real well, but no one's talking about Joshua Williams. Number two, he's starting to step up. I was a little worried about Joshua at the earlier part of the season. I was like, I don't know, Josh. I just don't know. But he's coming along. McDuff is and Reed, those guys are just beasts. Hicks, all of those guys. I mean, Nick Bolton, a killer. He was out there just getting after Karlaftis. Oh God, Big George, number 56. He wears the number well. I love Big George Karlaftis. So man, we executed perfectly, and because of that, I just hope we keep this going. I love the way uh, Noah Gray is playing. Noah Gray is making me think that he's the next superstar tight end. And when Travis Kelce finally retires or leaves us, we're going to be in good hands with Noah Gray. But yeah, that's my take, man.
Yeah, so I saw a couple of things. In addition to pressure, I saw control. The Chiefs controlled the ball. They had 33-52 to 26-08 time of possession.
Mm-hmm.
They ended up running, I think it was the exact same yards per play, 5.4 yards. But
Mm-hmm.
the Chiefs did get more total plays, 12 extra total plays just by controlling. They had 28 rushing attempts and got 124 rushing yards out of that, including Mahomes at the very beginning, just kind of F you to the league of, yeah, you think my ankle's hurt, here's how hurt this is. That run, I think, was a designed run in Patrick Mahomes' head that was going to happen sometime in that game, actually sometime in that first quarter, and he was going to go as far as he could. And I think that's what that play was him just saying, I'm good. y'all need to not worry about me, Chiefs fans, and then everybody else does need to worry about me for the rest of the league. But no, I definitely noticed the other things that you mentioned. Bryan, I'm going to toss it to you with one note. I found out last night that our friend Philip Kuhn actually has a signed Joshua Williams glove. So throw
Williams.
that into your analysis. Yeah. He
Oh,
went to one
Josh
of the playoffs
Williams,
games and got that. So I saw that last night at
Cool.
his apartment when
Awesome.
Bryan was standing us all up.
Yeah, that's my apologies. We talked about this last night. Let's not hash it out here in front of the audience. But yes. Yeah, we all covered it. Dwayne, I think, very eloquently talked about. I mean, the defense is what I'm going to harp on as well. The one name that did not get popped up that I want to is Mixon, containing Mixon. That's their running back stud right there, RB1 right there. I know this because Mixon's on my fantasy team, and Mixon did not have much production during that game. And 14 carries for 57 yards, an average of 4.1. And Mixon is a stud. And so I think the defense just knew their assignments. They knew what their job was. The pressure on Stroud contained Mixon. And that's where Chris Jones comes in because every time the running backs discuss, whenever they talk about the league running backs, like Chris Jones is a problem, and yes, he is, and that's why we're hoping for the best for tomorrow's game, given that situation. However, obviously we want that bye, so we got to do what we got to do. But also need Chris Jones to be healthy because he's so very important to causing problems to that running game. Who, no matter who it is, whoever we go up against. So I liked seeing how they contain Mixon, along with everything else. I am, I don't know, giddy, enthusiastic with the offense. Like, how many options does Mahomes need with all the talent we have at wide receiver and all the talent we have running the ball? Like, there's just a plethora of talent that Mahomes gets to choose from. And I feel like, I mean, he's just pick your choice. Whoever you want. You want the fastest guy? Do you want Xavier, who's the young buck out there who wants to who's hungry, probably as hungry as anybody else because he's out there making his name? You want anyone who's been doing it for a while now who wants to show what they got? It's just so much fun to watch. I cannot get enough of this offense right now. Just all these options that Mahomes has, and then there's Patrick Mahomes, like you said, running the ball. Yeah, my ankle works too, by the way. So if you guys got him covered, we got our tight ends. Well, everyone's busy. I'm just gonna scoot along here and do my own thing. So it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, getting the whole band back together is great, and we haven't even really seen the real Pacheco yet. I mean, he's just kind of hung out and run a couple of plays. So Bryan and I are both back in Hayes, Kansas, where we're originally from, which is where some of this we didn't get together last night ribbing, happened. We all have families here apparently.
So I
But
saw Andrew at the grocery store today, and
yeah,
I ran into him with my cart. And his first word, he goes, "Oh, hey, you look like shit."
Uh, no,
That,
he didn't put you out there like that, did he?
with friends like that, I mean, here we go.
yeah, right. No,
But
this
no,
is
I
that's the
got to
kind
give
of humor you get with people you grew up with, right? Like
exactly.
that's grew up humor. So,
Exactly. I got to give Bryan a shout. Call back to the high school we went to, the great Thomas More Prep Marion High School. That was a great college word you used with plethora, pulling that out. That was great. I appreciated that. When you're going to go far, kid, when you get into those
thanks.
college comp classes. Yeah.
I use a lot of AI software to learn that one.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with it. That's what it's there for. Make your life easier.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
There you
100%.
go. There you go.
Save
Yeah.
time.
Bryan's an OG with that stuff.
That's right.
Yeah. All right, so next topic, we have the Steelers tomorrow on Christmas Day, which lot of stuff to unpack there. So the Chiefs are one of four teams, with the Texans, Ravens, and Steelers being the others, that have 3 games in 11 days. So that's been noted. The Chiefs are also playing on 6 of the 7 days of the week this year
That's
by
nuts.
getting Black Friday and all of these other days as well, plus getting every primetime matchup you can have. So Wednesday and Friday, the two that were added. So interesting stuff. This game's on Netflix, which is another thing to talk about. So before we get into the actual game, Bryan, what are your thoughts on the tight schedule and another streaming service coming into this?
I mean, I obviously I didn't play football growing up, and I did not. I enjoyed watching it. But when the players say it's tough, I believe them, especially at this level when you play that many games in such a short amount of time and how bashed up everyone gets and how rough it is playing 3 games in such a short amount of time. Like, yeah, I believe it. That seems like a pretty violent game to play so often. And how, I mean, it's weird. Like, it's Wednesday watching football. I'm like, don't these guys need some more time to rest up? But I guess I'm not in charge of schedules, I'm not in charge of anything. And I guess that's when you're the Chiefs and we're at the position we're at. I guess that's the Christmas Day matchup because everyone's going to be with their families and it's going to be a big watching audience. And you know what? You got big matchup here with two heavy hitters, so why not? But yeah, uh, I mean, from a program concept, I'm like, oh, I get it. From a marketing standpoint, I get it for sure. But from a human standpoint, like that sounds kind of rough. So, but yeah, I'm looking forward to it, and hopefully, I'm curious. I mean, if Chris Jones, depending on the implications of the game, is we want that first round bye, and if I'm correct me if I'm wrong, if we get this win tomorrow, that secures the bye for us. So
Correct.
we want that. But I also don't want Chris Jones to put himself in a situation where he's not healthy for the big games in the postseason. So you got to make those kinds of decisions right now. And we got the Broncos coming up in a few weeks, and the Broncos are pretty pesky. They are having themselves a good season themselves. They're right there on the bubble. The Bengals, if the Broncos lose to and the Bengals win out against the Browns and the rest of their schedule, then they have the spot. So everyone's hungry. Everyone's clawing as hard as they can for what they have here. So in the
I'm
meantime, we want to win, we want to make a long run in the postseason. So we need our best players to be as healthy as they can. So if Chris Jones does not play tomorrow, obviously that changes a lot of the dynamics. We can still obviously pull it out and everything. It just changes things. So um, yeah, I'm looking forward to see how that plays out. But I'm almost like it's up to it's a game time decision. If it is, if he feels healthy enough that he feels safe to do it, then go for it. But make sure he's healthy. That's where my mindset's at.
Yeah, Dwayne, what are your thoughts on the 11 day run of 3 games?
the 11. My thoughts on that is that's real crucial on the D line and the offensive line because you got to look at the body weight and structure of these guys and the law of autometry pushing against each other. That's a lot of, and those guys are well over 300 pounds, especially on the line. And then on the defensive line, Chris Jones is like 320, 325. That's a lot of wear and tear on the ankles. It's bad for running backs because that's like the suicide position. They're just like, hey, hit me, I'm here, stick me some more.
Yeah,
But not so hard on the quarterback, not so hard on the wide receivers or the skill position guys, the secondary, not so hard on them. But linebackers, running backs, tight ends, defensive ends, I mean defense, D line and O line, that's pretty tough. So I get it from a marketing standpoint, but this is where depth chart comes into play because you're in an entertainment type of business. So it causes viewership. Viewership makes more money for the brand, the shield, all of that. So this is where you should rotate those guys in and out, rotate them. That's where you show the strength of your depth chart. Okay, second string guys, get in there. You're gonna get your hands today, and
yeah.
just go in there. But
But, but
um,
Cole's not helping anything either. I mean, the easy thing to say is if you're going to pull this stuff, pull it at the beginning of the year. But I mean, what are you going to do? Like shoehorn in a Labor Day game?
Well, isn't it also the concept is because it's on Christmas? That's the thing, right? And Christmas came on Wednesday this year, and Christmas next will be a Thursday, and then Christmas will be a Friday. So we're at the part
Yeah,
of the cycle where okay, it's earlier, it's midweek,
we're at the
so
mercy of the calendar.
right, yeah. So it's like, okay, so it's a Christmas Day thing. In the next 5 years, obviously, as we know how the calendars work, it'll work itself. But here we are now, like, oh, that sucks. But
Well, the interesting thing is, I think the NFL's made a clear point they're going to do this on Christmas. The extra piece to toss out here is the NBA has traditionally owned Christmas, and it went from a game to a couple of games, so now they have five.
five, yeah,
And the NFL decided to do two Christmas games. So I think really this talk about 3 games in 11 days, the only reason this is a new conversation is the NFL just hasn't decided to play football on Christmas.
Right.
They do it in Thanksgiving, but knowing that's going to be a Thursday always spreads things, and you can do, things from a schedule standpoint. But the NFL specifically picking the 4 teams between Houston, Baltimore, Pittsburgh, and Kansas City to be the 4 to do this. I can't decide if I think that's fair that they picked 4 teams to do it, or if it's even more messed up that they picked 4 teams to take that entire deal. And this is all just the NFL doesn't have to take over Christmas, but they're going to. And, couple that with the fact that the NBA is trying to find their way with ratings again. This is interesting. I wouldn't be surprised to see this turn into 3-4 games on Christmas before it's all said and done. I think it's easily going to turn into 3. You'll have a noon, a 3:30, and a night game.
Makes
Oh,
sense.
yeah, yeah, because then you'll go from four teams to 6 teams, and that's pretty fair. And then you shuffle them around each year, but then like you said, it's a scheduling thing. So if you want these teams to play on Christmas Day,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and Christmas, you actually they actually have the calendar, right? And Christmas is on a Wednesday. Maybe there should have been a Friday game instead of a Saturday game to give you a little more time,
Mm-hmm.
or doubled up on Thursday night
Yeah,
football,
yeah.
Yeah, I
Christmas.
think so. I think so. Yeah.
No, I think that's a good point. Rethink what this Saturday looks like. But yeah, so let's get into the actual game itself. Dwayne, what do you have for 3 keys to victory and a score prediction for tomorrow?
3 keys to victory. One, contain and frustrate dangerous Wilson. Do not let him get going, because for some odd reason he's not afraid of us. He beat us last year when he was with the Denver Broncos. So in his mind, he thinks that he can do that. So first of all, keep the pressure, apply pressure, all gas, no brakes. Second key to victory: Mahomes, Mahomes, Mahomes. Keep doing what you're doing, playing fastball, but let it fly. I don't think he's had a 300-yard game yet all season, but this is the game to go out and get 300, 325 or something like that. Or maybe he has had 300, but it's been far and few in between. And thirdly, run the ball. Isaiah Pacheco and Kareem Hunt, run it down their throats. Run, run, run. And Andy is not run happy. He's a very pass happy coach. He's probably 70-30. I say 60-40. Run that ball.
Okay, Bryan, your 3 keys to victory. Or Dwayne,
Uh,
what's your score? What's your score prediction?
Score prediction. It's going to be a tight one, guys. I'm thinking 28-25.
Got
I
it.
think
All
I
right,
think you'll be
Bryan,
right.
3 keys and a prediction.
Okay, so I'm looking at the defense offense kind of lineups here. Yeah, the running defense the Steelers have is exceptional this season. So when you're looking at and also both the defensive against running and the defense against wide receivers is both exceptional. So yeah, we'll start with the run game. Yeah, run it down their throats. Establish yourself. Like, I mean, that's pretty standard what we say here, but you have to make noise in the early going there. The good news is Mahomes has so many weapons. We said this last year too. I love this, but if you recall last year around this time, the issue was dropping passes. Remember that? Remember that whole experience? It was just dropping passes. And I remember like we all said like who wants to be a star? Because the ball's it's in your hand. We're right there. Who wants to be the star? Who wants to be the hero? And now we have all these players and they're all doing their job very well. They're all like executing the way we need them to do. And tomorrow is a quite the test. So yeah, we have Pacheco and Hunt doing their thing, getting the ball, run it down their throats. You have to make a statement early. You really got to make that statement that like we're not going to be pushed around in the way. So just coming out hot, coming out in a way that shows confidence, and if this is the moment where Mahomes is like, yeah, having a big game, because the whole season, what's the goof we've had all season? Like, we have not scored more than 30 points in a single game.
We haven't scored 31 plus the entire time, and the other teams that haven't done that are the Raiders and the Giants and the Patriots.
but our
Yeah.
record is
One.
yeah.
Yeah. And then we're also 20 of our last 21 wins. We've won 16 games in a row by a single score, like all that stuff, you know.
Well, that's how the game works. That's how you win game. Yeah, well, the scoreboard at the end of the game, we had more than that's how that works.
Don't make us bring Dan back in here to explain a scoreboard.
Yeah, Dan Kirsting here. So how does the scoreboard work? Yes. Okay. So what you're telling me is we're getting it done when we need to get it done. You know, I'm curious in that we have so many options. I wonder, just for the sake of thinking about it, Mahomes has so many options. I don't know if that could potentially be like there's not like a one go-to kind of like, it's like when Tyreek Hill, like no matter what, Tyreek Hill is always the guy, like, okay, chips are down, we go to Tyreek Hill. And back in the day, or whenever we need 4 or 5 yards, it seems like it's always a check down pass to Travis Kelce. Like that's usually like it's 3rd and 5. Guess what's happening? We're gonna have Travis Kelce. He's gonna take it and bulldoze his way through it. Usually, I don't know if there's a breakout kind of moment that needs to happen to establish ourselves for the next few games moving forward. So, or maybe that's not exactly great content commentary. It's like maybe it's this, maybe that. I don't know. Maybe having all these options and spreading the field so much so no one knows what to pay attention to is the move. But that doesn't seem like it works. So it seems like there needs to be one person who's the go-to guy. Chips are down, 3 minutes left, and we need to make something happen. So, I guess the keys of the game. It's going to be like obviously establish the running game, establish what we have, but it's gonna have to be a defensive stand against all this stuff. So hopefully defense does what they do, and keeps that confidence going because is it still Russell the guy? That's their guy, right?
Russell Wilson, yeah.
Russell Wilson, yeah, dangerous.
You know, I was at Ross the other day, looking shopping for gifts.
You was at Ross.
Yeah, you used to see all of me jerseys of.
This is Ross and where?
You what?
This is Ross where?
Ross.
Ross Dress for Less in Colorado.
In Denver. No, the Denver part is the context. Now continue the story.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, I could buy 10 of his jerseys for $5 a piece and $50 in Russell jerseys.
Wow.
Russell Wilson Bronco jerseys, yeah.
Oh, and a couple of those with some Jerry Jeudy's. Like
that's right.
My son wanted like some Jerry Jeudy's and some Russell. I'm like, Jerry Jeudy, he is a stud. I'll give you that, but it's the Broncos brand that's not really doing it for me right now.
So we can make throw pillows out of those and give them to people that are friends that are Bronco fans. That would be like the worst gift that you could give somebody.
I love going to Ross or TJ Maxx whenever a big player like that leaves and like, oh, there's like a shitload of jerseys here for sale.
That's right.
These are awesome.
I actually like that idea. I'm going to shoot a full wider a note, one of Bryan and I's friends, and ask him how he would feel if we made him a series of throw pillows out of Jerry Jeudy and Russell Wilson jerseys.
You know what? Maybe he'd like him because Jerry Jeudy is bona fide stud. He's great. Just didn't work so great. If he had a better quarterback, it would have been a different story with the Broncos. But he is a stud.
Yeah. All right. So my score prediction, Bryan.
I'm with Dwayne. I'm gonna go a little lower. I'm gonna go 21. Oh gosh, I'm gonna go 21, 24 Chiefs.
Okay.
24-21. Okay. Yeah, so I'll start. I'm going to go 24-20 Chiefs because I agree with you. I think this is going to be a tight thing. I think you hit on a lot of high points. This is going to be a defensive game. I think this needs to be a running game. I'd like to see it be a running game. I'm guessing it's still going to be the 60-40 split because Reed's Reed and Mahomes is Mahomes. But looking at the weather tomorrow, 41 degrees is what it should be around noon when this game kicks off. It's supposed to be sunny. There's a
December. Remember when it was cold in December? It's like nice outside right now. This is weird.
Yeah, back in the day. But 41 degrees. There's a 9%. 9% chance of precipitation, 3-mile-an-hour wind. This is a nice day. I
It's a
mean,
great day. Let's play
from
some
somebody that
golf.
lives in Wisconsin, I mean, I'm in Kansas right now. It's 40 degrees out. I'm wearing this,
Right.
This is all the more that I would wear to that game tomorrow. All things equal, I'm happy to
Let's
be
sneak on the
around
golf
family, but
course.
this would have been a cool game to go to. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh is fun. A lot of cool things to do down there. Permani Brothers. If you've never been to there, it's a Texas toast sandwich that was made for truckers to be a meal in a hand. So it's a sandwich that's that big because they stuff
Right.
French fries on it and coleslaw, but it's good. It's a grilled sandwich, hot pastrami with coleslaw and French fries.
I'm hungry now. Yeah.
But getting back to the game, yeah, I mean, I really would love to see. I'd like to see a Kareem Hunt catching the ball out of the backfield game. I'd like to see a Pacheco getting 80 yards on the ground in addition to Kareem getting 100 all-purpose yards out of the backfield. Just make this a backfield game. Just really slug it out. Carson Steele getting a couple of carries to help with that as well. And then some timely downfield passes. I do think that there is a possibility that between now and the end of the year, we could see DeAndre Hopkins become that third down guy. But as of right now, until further, direction from the Chiefs themselves, it's Travis Kelce. That it's always going to be Travis Kelce. But Hopkins is the one guy that I could see taking that because he has magic hands. So in the effort of keeping things moving, we have one more thing to get through before we all bounce and go to our families. So let's do our annual tradition of
Okay.
looking at the NFL trade machine.
Oh,
So you guys see my screen?
I agree.
All right. All right. So really what we're going to be doing here quickly is going through all the games, picking a winner. And Dwayne, you're going to have the most on the line here because you've been all about Pittsburgh winning that NFC, that AFC North all year.
Yes, I have.
You're looking really smart. But some of the stuff that I've seen you putting out here recently, it seems like you might have to backtrack on that to be right about the bigger picture that you're looking at right now. So let's get into games. We all picked the Chiefs to win. Do we think that the Ravens are going to have any trouble with the Texans in Houston? This is in a dome. Okay, so we're going to go with Ravens. Seahawks, Bears, who cares? Seahawks, Chargers should beat the Patriots, which means they might not. All right, so Bengals, Broncos. This is quite possibly the most important game left on the schedule because the Bengals have an in to make the playoffs. Bryan, I'm kind of riding with the Bengals on this one too. Do you have any major arguments?
Dwayne, what do you think? Dwayne has something to say. Dwayne, what do you think?
I think it's the Bengals, man, because they're just hungry and it just feels like I don't know. I don't think we're gonna have three AFC West teams in there. I don't know, man. I think it's the
I think the Broncos defense is pretty nasty. I think the Broncos pull it out. Bengals have had a tough season, and Bengals defense seems pretty weak, to be honest with you.
but their offense is so strong.
So for
Yeah.
the sake of making this a 2-against-1, I'm going to go with the Bengals because it makes the Week 18 more interesting.
Mhm.
If for no other reason, I think you both make good points. The Bengals are surging. The Broncos do have a good defense. This is a take care of business. I'm kind of inclined to say I think Denver puts this whole thing to bed tomorrow, or this weekend. But just for the sake of sport, I'm going to go with the Bengals. I don't think that the Cardinals are going to start winning big games now, so we'll just go there. Buffalo, are they going to help us out with any trouble with the Jets? Probably not.
Probably not. No.
Okay.
Buffalo wins.
Titans over Jags. We're gonna make that a tie just for fun because it doesn't matter.
All right, fine.
They're
Bucks
both
over
pretty shitty, right?
Bucks over the Panthers. Raiders over the Saints. Nothing more Raider than losing to the Saints. First team that got shut out. Eagles over the Cowboys, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Okay. Colts, Giants. I don't know. Colts might as well make this have the illusion of interesting. Dolphins, Browns. Yep. Let's keep all those 6 and 8 teams alive.
Yep.
Packers, Vikings.
Ooh.
Are the Vikings for real as a threat for the 1 seed? If the answer is yes, they have to win. If we don't see a world,
but damn, they keep winning, and I'm like, what is it about this team? But I wouldn't bet against a hot hand with the Green Bay Packers.
Bryan, what do you think?
I don't know, man. This is tight. I mean, they pitched a shadow against the Saints, but the Saints didn't have Kamara. They had a new quarterback in the thing
Spencer
there. I mean,
Rattler, yeah.
so it's like I'm gonna go with Green Bay on this one. Because I think
Okay.
he's great, but I'm gonna go with experience with love on this one.
Does Atlanta keep things interesting going into the last week, or does Washington just really put their foot down?
I think Atlanta is that's my upset pick this week.
Bryan?
Great. I like it. Yeah, let's go Atlanta.
All right. Okay. The 49ers aren't playing. That's clear. Lions.
Lions are going to decimate them. Yes.
Yeah, which the Lions still shockingly have not locked up the seed at this point, which is crazy. Okay, so going into week 18, we got Texans, Titans. That game doesn't matter.
I gotta bounce, guys. If you want to speed run, but I gotta go.
All right, so we'll finish this. Yeah, yeah.
All right, love you guys. Merry Christmas. I'll talk to you
All
guys
right,
soon.
Merry Christmas.
See.
Okay,
All
so
right.
we're just gonna let the Texans finish the season on a high note.
Okay.
We'll let the Falcons win over the Panthers. I think the Bucks also win.
Yeah.
Which,
Even though they're out of it, that they really needed that Dallas game.
yeah, they did. They did. But no, like looking at that, if the Falcons pull off this week 17 over Washington
Then
and
they're out.
then beat the Panthers, they're in. So we have the Falcons in under Penix. Um, Rams, Seahawks.
Seahawks, Rams.
Yeah. Okay. Bills, any more trouble with the Patriots going to Foxborough?
Yeah, I watched that one, but I don't know that's going to be the Bills again. They're going to sweep them.
Okay. Dolphins over Jets, Ravens over Browns.
Yeah.
All right, we have Bengals Steelers. We're gonna leave that one.
I
We'll say
I
Colts beat the Jags. We'll leave our Denver. Um, we'll say the Bolts beat the Raiders.
uh-huh.
Cowboys Commanders.
Uh I don't know. I think the Commanders have got them.
Okay. We got Eagles over Giants. We're gonna take Packers over Bears. We'll let the Cardinals win a game over San Fran. So we have 3 games left to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
So we have Steelers Bengals, we have Chiefs Broncos, and we have Vikings Lions. One of those games will for sure mean something.
They will. Vikings Lions determine who's 1 seed and who's 5th seed.
So if the Vikings win that game, even after losing to Green Bay, actually the Lions have this tied up if they win. So, you know,
So if the line, wait a minute,
based on us having the Packers beat the Vikings and the Lions beat the 49ers in week 17, the Lions have locked up the one.
okay, that sounds about
So
right.
now if we go back and say that the Vikings won that game against the Packers, the Vikings' path to a 1 seed is beating the Packers and the Lions.
And that's not going to happen.
Yeah. So I'm back with Green Bay over there. So no, we can say the Vikings, move in and keep that 5 seed and a trip to Atlanta as opposed to a trip out west to LA by virtue of beating the Lions last week. I think that's a good story to close out the NFC North.
Absolutely.
So Packers end up over the Bears to go 13-4. So we have 3 13-win teams in one division. Okay. So now the question is, are we going to have 3 10-win teams in our division?
In our division,
in our division. So we've got the Chiefs and the Broncos, and we have the Bengals and the Steelers. So okay, you're thinking the Bengals are making the playoffs. You also are thinking that the Steelers are going to be winning the division.
mm-hmm.
both of these two things can't happen. In fact, based on the way that we're picking games, the Steelers are in the wild card.
They're right, right.
Going to Baltimore. So I'll just ask this again.
Okay.
The Steelers would have to beat us and the
Mm,
Bengals if they want to win that division. So you're out on that.
no, I'm out on that.
Okay, so I was right. The Ravens are winning this division.
Right, I think they're
They
the
made
fifth.
that shit so interesting.
That's right. I think they're the fifth seed, man.
Okay. Okay.
Baltimore, it's gonna get that one because they're definitely gonna
Got
beat
it. Okay. So is Kansas City playing anybody, or are we resting everyone?
I think that we play everybody. And the reason being is because from the wild card game to the divisional round, from the last game from week 18 to that is almost like 20 days or so. And that's more than enough time for Mahomes. Everybody's yelling, rest Mahomes, rest Mahomes, rest
You're
Mahomes, but
thinking avoid
Mahomes
rust.
want to rest. Mahomes, everybody hasn't gotten it. Mahomes runs the show. He's not going to sit out because he's going to look at it in his mind. Oh, I got a break. I got a bye week. I'll just rest in. He
Yeah.
likes
Okay. Okay. So Chiefs, Broncos, Bengals, Steelers. Who are your winners?
Chiefs and Bengals.
All right. So that actually does not put Pittsburgh as the 5 seed. That puts them as the 6,
Mm-hmm.
unless we want to have the Chargers drop a game to the Raiders, which I'm good for doing that just for sport.
Yeah, but I don't think the Raiders are going to beat them. But some are.
Yeah, I don't know either. Okay. So what's interesting here is we have the Colts in as opposed to the Bengals.
Wow.
We have the Colts winning their last 2 games. They play the Giants and they play the Jags. Do you see a world where they lose to either of those teams?
Yeah, they could win those. You're right. Gee whiz. So that kills my Bengals theory.
Well, we just have to pick the Colts to lose a game.
Well, if they lost the game, surprise, the Jacksonville Jaguars beat the Colts with
And then that puts Miami in.
Oh wow.
So the Bengals are actually in third in line.
Oh well,
So Miami has let's see here. The Dolphins play week 17. So they play the Browns and they play the Jets.
wow.
So we need a little Aaron Rodgers matchup magic to get the Bengals in.
Wow. Yeah, I don't know if Rodgers is coming off of his high, or maybe,
Yeah.
maybe for that game. I don't know. And this is not the opinions. These are just opinions, not facts, guys.
Uh-huh.
Know anything about Rodgers and what he does off the field. As a
Yeah. Okay, so we don't think we're going to get 3 AFC West teams. So we think the Broncos lose out. We think the Bengals make this interesting, but ultimately, I don't see a world where the Colts lose either of these last 2 games. I don't. They're at home against the Jags, and they could play on the moon against the Giants, and that doesn't matter. I mean, the Giants are tanking practice.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay. Here's our pick on the slates. The way this would line up, wild card games would see Indy going to Buffalo. That's going to be a small funeral. We would have a Baltimore Pittsburgh rematch, and then we would have the Chargers going.
Knows how to beat Baltimore. They know how to beat Baltimore.
They do. I mean, so this is lining up with a rematch with Pittsburgh in the divisional round of the playoffs.
Yeah.
Interesting stuff.
Yes.
Interesting stuff. And then we would have Buffalo and either Houston and the Chargers.
Chargers will beat Houston.
Chargers could make this a really interesting matchup against Buffalo.
You sure right.
Yeah. So there we go. Over on the NFC side, we'd have the Eagles, Commanders. I mean, those division games, you have to throw the what if out. I would think that the Eagles at full strength are
I think
going to
the
take care of that one. Packers, Rams, Vikings, Falcons. I think the Vikings walk into Atlanta and win that game comfortably.
Vikings in there.
And then I think you got the Rams chalking it up against Green Bay. So you would have Vikings Lions rematch.
You think the Rams could beat Green Bay?
I do.
Wow.
At home in LA, I do.
Mm.
Yeah. So all right. Well, that's how we see this playoff group go. So yeah, let's get into last takes.
That's it. That's it, man. So it's going to be a great Christmas game. I mean, I'm getting on the road very early in the morning. We're all headed to Waco, my home city, and we're going to be out there with our mom and everything. So we're going to have the Chiefs game on loud and proud in the surround sound and everything. We're going to be pretty pumped up about it. Just I hope this isn't a trap game for the Chiefs, but at worst case scenario, even if we lost to the Steelers, we're 15-2. We're still locking up the first seed because we won't lose to Denver. But I don't think we're losing to Pittsburgh. I think we'll beat them. I do.
Yeah. All right. My final take. I still haven't watched that Hallmark
Chiefsaholic?
Chiefs
No,
movie, but I did watch Chiefsaholic. I watched that earlier today.
I'm gonna watch that when we get off.
Yeah, that's a wild run. I mean, I feel like I paid attention to the story, but this gives a level of depth of when he cut his ankle bracelet and ran. And yeah, we have some interesting sound bites from some of the familiar faces around the kingdom that we know really well as well. So it was well run documentary, or well put together documentary. I think it was pretty clear that this was documentary as everything was happening. I mean, they got some pretty deep access from the drop. And I think a lot of the message that they really hammered on a little bit was, this sounds so crazy, it's like a movie. And I think they all realized in the moment that this is a movie, and they just made one. So wild stuff. Enjoy that watch. Don't have any of the chidlins around. There's plenty of unedited language in that one, but yeah, pretty wild stuff with Chiefsaholic.
Oh, that's awesome. I can't
Yeah.
wait. But no, I hadn't seen the Hallmark one. I'm gonna definitely check that one out tonight. It's kind of a chick flick, but hey, it's a good feel good story, right?
Well, exactly. And then I've got to get into my annual Christmas tradition. There's a movie set that we always watch. So we always watch Elf. We always watch Christmas Vacation. We always watch Bad Santa. That's our holy trinity of Christmas movies. And then we top that cherry on top with the best Christmas movie of all time, Die Hard.
Die Hard, yeah, Die Hard is
Um,
definitely the best Christmas movie of all time.
Absolutely.
Lots of action, man. Well,
All right. Well, Merry Christmas, and we'll be trading notes during this game tomorrow.
man, we will, man. And look here, y'all have a great Merry Christmas to you and your family. And hey, man, in that note, go Chiefs.